first part of the process when we get a collection from another collector or a dealer, maybe somebody's childhood collection that they have gotten, kept in their attic or their basement. We typically go and we see these people, or we see the dealers and so forth, make them an offer, get their whole collection, and we bring them here. If it's big enough, we usually set up this whole operation in here. Sometimes the smaller ones we'll take directly out to the store, and we'll sort through and process them and put them out for the customers to purchase either online or in the store. We have here a large, massive vintage 1980s G.I. Joe collection. We'll bring all the parts and all the pieces and all the vehicles and figures and the boxes. We'll bring them in here into this staging area first. Once we bring them here, we try to kind of go on and off with trying to find the hard to find pieces, the stuff that's easily broken, things that are worth a lot of money. And we'll try to pull those out so they don't get broken or damaged and so forth, and we immediately take those out to the store and set those to the side. This is Gary. Gary Godso is from Indianapolis, Indiana. He comes out and volunteers and helps us out a lot.
All right, so when he gets these massive collections, there's literally hundreds and thousands of parts that have taken up the entire G.I. Joe mythos in terms of the toys. Oftentimes, we have a hard time keeping track of them ourselves. So the first thing you really got to do is you need to sort them out, sometimes based upon what vehicle you see the most of in the box, sometimes based upon year, that type of thing. And the other thing that they like to do here also is we'll pull out parts that are probably the more valuable parts. This is the, for instance, this is the front gun to a 1983 G.I. Joe Polar Battle Bear snowmobile. These are often either broken or not complete on some of the items that you can find on eBay. So what we do is we pull these out immediately, and then we'll take them into the store and either put them on individually onto the eBay, or put it individually on the eBay, or make a Battle Bear that is really good looking, complete, if it doesn't have a set of guns. So that's kind of what we do here. We'll make little piles. For instance, we got a small pile here working of 1982 jump pads. This is the jump jet landing pad that the Joes have. Working pile of Crusader parts going back here. It's like a broken tread to a Wolverine. I don't know if that's going to be good for anything, but we'll just set that here. Oh, the HAL laser trading card. The Mobat. This is the air defense.
Now I'll take you downstairs. This is the main processing area. It's also where we keep our Rancor. The stuff on the ground here is all from one collection, the collection they're working on in the main processing area. We've almost finished this collection. When we got it, we had to get a giant U-Haul to fill the entire processing area in the garage, and then we had to move it down here as well. The stuff on the ground here you see, Thundercats, Centurions, some of the hard to find pieces, GoBots, He-Man, miscellaneous thing. These things have already been processed, they're already done. We've already made them available to our customers online. Some of the hard to find pieces we've put out in the shop. The stuff right here, we typically get a lot of scrap, a lot of things that are yellowed or broken, something that we just really can't sell to people. So we typically kind of just pile it all up, and when we're done with one collection, we'll take it and donate it to the rescue mission, to local charities, Goodwills, things like that. So they do get recycled. We don't ever throw anything away. I'll take you in here. I think they're working on some Voltron stuff. It's the last of the big collection. Come take a look. We got Scott, we got Charlie, we got Amber, we got Andrew, all volunteers. This is probably one of the largest Voltron collections we've ever had. When we picked up this collection, it took a giant U-Haul to fill it out. Some of the boxes in the back were nothing but Voltron stuff. Pretty hard to find, pretty obscure. Scott's kind of our local resident volunteer Voltron expert. He knows a lot about it. I'll let him kind of explain it here in just a minute. But what they're doing is they're sorting out all of the good stuff, the things that are unbroken. They're sorting out things that they know that they can complete. Once they can complete something up and they get everything sorted, they put legs on one side. I mean, because Voltron's, you know, multiple pieces it takes to complete. They'll put the different ones in different piles. Once they've got them all sorted out in that process, they'll begin to assemble the final ones. The best obviously get the best pieces. Anything broken, they'll put that in a separate pile, and so forth. I'll kind of let Scott take over, and he can tell you a little bit more.
We're just kind of going through, sorting through the Voltron, kind of pulling out the different parts. Where you got the line force Voltrons, and you got two different styles of those: the original die-cast metal ones, and you got the later panache place ones that can hold the figures. We're just kind of sorting everything out, getting figures in one spot, one style of Voltron here. We also have the vehicle force Voltron, getting them all put together, and then Robotech toys mixed in with everything. So we're just kind of sorting at the moment, kind of getting everything grouped together so then we can start completing items.
The stuff here you see on the ground, this stuff has all been sorted out. This comes from the collection that you've seen in the second processing area. A lot of high ticket, big dollar items, the USS flag from the 1985, some of them with sealed contents, no yellowing, no broken pieces. These are all top holy grail pieces. The classic, the He-Man Starship, USS Defiant. We've got a couple of flag boxes, a couple of Defiant boxes, and collectors love boxes. Boxes are key to everything, especially the high-end collectors. These Defiant boxes are so scarce, everybody threw them out. I mean, in the 80s, when you're a kid, you get this Defiant, that's what you wanted. No one cared about this box. Parents just didn't want to keep this thing. It was so big and such a space taker, they just threw them out. So it makes them a little bit more valuable. These particular brown boxes here are so amazing because they're the actual shipping boxes that it came in. So these things were always the very first to get thrown out. And typically when you'd buy this item in the store, like the Defiant, when it came out, it was only like $99. But you know, in 1985, that was a huge thing. Same thing with the flag, about $99. They would always, you know, put these out on display, and you know, you go to Toys R Us or Kmart, places like that, Hills, some of the other places, they would take this shipping sleeve off and they would throw it away. So by them throwing it away, it made it even more scarce than the box itself or the actual Defiant itself. So Defiant, you know, is one of the holy grails, and when we bought the big collection that we've shown you that in the processing area, they had 3 Defiants, 2 flags, all these boxes. So we immediately wanted to start building these up, getting these ready for processing, and get them out to our customers because they're holy grails. They're hard to find. You see it typically with these blue doors on the Defiant. They're always broken. So these things could be the core part of the Defiant's main cost. Some of the trivial things that happen with this is like this small gun turret holder right here will typically be broke. This one obviously is okay, but here's a good example here. There's a slight discolorization to it, but not a lot. It's still good, they're still intact, but you'll see it's got a small crack. Typically when you see these, they're shattered or they're cracked all over. It's a really amazing piece. They love them. So we've got them down here. All these that you see from, you know, the old Lone Ranger, from the, you know, the 60s and 70s Marks horses, all these things are all ready for or already been processed. They're already listed online. They're live auctions on eBay. You buy them, they come right straight. They're attic fresh, basement fresh. People love them. We complete them out, get them all the pieces that we can from the collection, put them online, and immediately get them to collectors. So we just kind of line them up here and work our way towards the computer where we've listed them. All the stuff you see right here has all been processed, bagged, cleaned, ready to go for our customers online. The stuff down here on the ground, this is stuff also from the collection in the processing area. They have not been done yet because we haven't had time. But you've got Jason and the Wheel Warriors, you've got Air Raiders, Captain Power. Typically when the volunteers aren't here, it's just Amber and I and the kids. We're down here sometimes late at night, early in the morning, with toothbrushes, rags, and spray bottles, cleaning them, scraping them, you know, in our PJs. And that's how we do it. And it's in our home. The store is a part of our life. It's what we do to support a family of 4, and we love it. We wouldn't trade it for the world. So, you know, obviously these are the computers where we connect with everybody online, where we list everything. We take our photos here, and you know, this is the core operations of behind the scenes of Kokomo Toys. This is where all the magic happens. All right, this is the shipping room. This is where we keep all our boxes for our customers online. A lot of people don't know we are also a storefront, but half of our sales, if not 60% of our sales, are online. It's an online world. World Wide Web is key for us. We're reaching a larger client base than just people here locally or within our community or in the state. We're reaching everybody across the world with our sales. all these items on the ground, these are items ready to be shipped to customers from our store. They're going as far away as Egypt, Spain, Chicago. Sometimes we get them right here in the state. Guys just want to pop, their orders right here and don't want to have to drive all the way up, and they just need something at the last minute to complete something. We get them all over the world, Canada, Brazil, you name it. We do typically probably 300 to 400 packages a week, and it's definitely half of our business is online.
I mean, this is where everything gets shipped out. I mean, this is where, everything gets ready for the customer, so we try to make sure everything's clean and the cards are good, and we try to get it done. I mean, it takes up a lot of time, and I mean, we spend like 3 or 4 days out of the week doing packages, so it gets difficult to try to juggle the shipping, the sorting. So when we get huge collections like we have now, it takes a lot longer because we have to work it in around the shipping, because that's what comes first, is doing that and getting things ready for the customer. And then there's also the store where we're open 3 days a week doing that too. So we work a lot of 12, 16-hour days.
This here is from the Silverhawk line. This is a classic example of poorly kept, conditioned items. You can see the one over here. This is 1987 Blue Mirage, I believe. It's one of the more ultra rare, hard to find Silverhawk pieces. It's bright blue. It's got all its canopies. It was well kept. The one next to it is yellowed. It's dirty. It's missing all its pieces. This is a classic example of poor storage and loss of value. Collectors will not want this piece unless they're going to customize it or give it to a child to play. You can see the contrast, the difference between how yellow this is because of the weather change. When you're storing toys in an attic, it's absolutely horrible for them. With the weather going cold and hot for 30 years, this is what the plastic turns into. It ruins the plastic. So the value on this thing is absolutely almost nothing compared to this. This here is probably $100 to $200 item in its condition because it was properly kept. It didn't have a lot of play wear. Collectors love it. I mean, the only real flaw with this item is maybe the tip, but it was probably crashed, it was played with, it was loved, but it was stored correctly. They maybe had it in a climate controlled area. This one here, obviously, probably would have been in great shape had it not been stored in a non-climate area, such as an attic or a basement or a shed, storage units and so forth. So this is a good difference between a $100 to $200 item and a $5 to $10 item.
So these are the exact same toy. That's
Exact
fascinating.
Same toy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That is fascinating how different they look. Like, yeah.
This is it. Yeah, missing its pieces and
Wow.
stored them properly.
That is nuts.
It turned green.
Yeah, it pretty much turned just green. Like,
And it's all with this whole plastic from Kenner. It's typical. Same thing with Star Wars. They did, Kenner did Star Wars, and they did the Silverhawks in 1987. It was a kind of obscure line, but a lot of collectors love the obscure. A lot of kids had Silverhawks. They remember the cartoon, and this is one of the ultra hard pieces to find from that collection. I mean, to see it like this is pretty devastating, considering there's thousands of guys out there, in their 20s, their 30s, and 40s who absolutely want this piece, but they'll never have it because it was stored improperly. But there's always a demand. The key is to find what's the next big thing. A lot of guys are going through and they're collecting new stuff, not because they love it, because they think it's an investment, and maybe it is, but you just never know what's going to be worth a lot. Like an example, in the 1990s, everybody went out and got Power of the Force Star Wars toys. And you know why? It's because during that time, everybody remembered their vintage Star Wars toys, and everybody was saying, look, I'm selling these things. $2,000 for a Boba Fett, $1,000 for this, $2,000 for that. They're minting the package, and everybody's like, you know what? When they brought out these new Power of the Force, you could get them everywhere. They were so massively overproduced. George Lucas was smart on that. And he's a master of marketing and sales. He said, you know, we're going to do 3 different versions of this character and 3 different packaging, and everyone's going to buy it. You know why? Because they're not going to want to miss the opportunity to have that $2,000 figure now. But see, that's the difference. Everybody thought that these toys were going to be worth so much, and you go back and look now, they're worth hardly anything. Most of them are worth less than what you paid for, and the reason is because of the production. They made so many of them to capitalize on everybody saying, this time I'm going to have a $2,000 Boba Fett sealed in its package. This time I'm going to have it all. And it just didn't work out, and now a week doesn't go by where somebody doesn't bring in a massive collection of Power of the Force, and I just can't do anything with them. Anybody that actually still collects those because they love them, they've already got them all. Just a little bit of a look at our house. We're not selling them. We're living toys. I mean, it's in our bathroom, it's in our bedroom, it's in our kitchen. We love toys just as much as we love selling toys.
People come from like around the world just to like our house, so it's like a big experience for me because almost no one else in my school has this. So I'm like the only person that makes me feel like really special and out there.
What do you like to collect?
Monster High, Electra, Harley Quinn, and I collect a little bit of Baroness.
Who do you like to collect, Victor?
G.I. Joe?
How many G.I. Joes do you have? You don't know? 1,000? Probably. Alright, so here we're moving from one collection from one staging area to the next.
Get the boxes through the doorway.
You got it, man.
This one's gonna be fun.
It's kind of an assembly line fire brigade process. Ooh, that's a big one. Not too heavy though.
They're saying stackable boxes would be the best.
Stackable boxes.
On that day.
They just keep coming, Charlie. Those are parts and pieces.
This process takes probably about 20 or 30 minutes depending on how large the collection is. Once the staging area is clear, we'll have it down there to replace the prior processing area, which had the Voltron stuff and all the large collections you've seen on the ground there throughout the basement. Once we have all this stuff down there, we'll start the process all over and start sorting them out, completing them out, and getting them ready for our customers.